What are we doing here? I don't know. Wish I knew what we were doing here. Somebody invited me to come over here and hang out. I think this is the place. Does anybody know who this Geekasaurus guy is? I wish I knew. Let's find out. Coming up today on the Geekasaurus, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do an introduction to Guild Wars 2 for all your friends and family that might not know what it is. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Geekasaurus. Okay, I was watching Tyria talk with my friend Richie Procopio, the Bog Otter, and he did a video the other day talking about why people might want to play this game and kind of made it as a primer for friends and family, and I thought, that's a great topic. Not that he didn't do it justice, I just thought I would do my own little spin on it. So, what am I going to show you today? Well, this video specifically is for people that have no clue what Guild Wars 2 is. And maybe you played MMOs in the past and maybe you haven't. Maybe you don't even know what MMO stands for. We're going to kind of cover the basics. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible so you don't have to sit here and listen to me rattle on for an hour. I will try to make it as quick as possible and we'll try to cover all of the details as best I can. Of course, I will leave some things out, but you can learn about all of those things from other videos. This is just going to be kind of a down and dirty, quick, what is Guild Wars 2? What does it mean to me? Why do I want to play it? Alright, let's get moving on with that topic exactly. Okay, so what's an MMO? Well, an MMO is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Role-playing game think of as like Dungeons and Dragons, and then think of massively multiplayer, meaning thousands and thousands of people around the world are playing the same game at the same time. These are called persistent worlds, and these worlds live on outside of whether you're logged into them or not. And in these games you can play multiple different types of characters, and we're going to look at the characters that are available in Guild Wars 2 now. First off, you have human. If you're watching this video, more than likely you're human. You could be a dog or a cat, but I cannot speak your language correctly, so we're going to skip that part. We're going to assume that you're human, so you kind of already know what humans are. Okay? The other options you can pick in this game are the Norn, which are like big humans, kind of giants, and they live in the north. And you have the Char, which are like these cat-like, bear-like mix creatures. So let's have a look at the Char, and we'll go back to the other races in just a minute. Unlike other MMOs, usually you get kind of assigned a certain race class combo. Race being the type of character this is a Char, and class being the profession that they are. In this game they're called professions. Every single race in Guild Wars 2 can be every single profession. The professions are Warrior, Guardian, Engineer, Ranger, Necro, Thief, Mesmer, and Elementalist. In other MMOs you had to kind of pick an archetype, meaning that if you wanted to be a support class you could play a healing class, and the healers would heal the people that got wounded during the combat, and you could bring them back to life and heal them. Or you could play what was called a tank class, and the tank's job was to hold all of the aggro from the mob towards them so that they took all of the damage, and the healer only had to worry about healing them and maybe throwing a little bit to the other guys, which were called DPS. In this game there is no Trinity. We call that the Trinity, and there is no Trinity in this game per se. You don't necessarily have a class that's just a tank, just a healer, just a DPS. Each class can heal themselves. They all have some sort of aggro negators or enhancers, and they have nothing but pure DPS as far as every single class is concerned. So each of the races in this game have their own sort of artistic style, and they have their own stories that fit that race. These are the Norn, and the Norn live in the north, and they're kind of brutal, almost dwarf-like as far as if you're concerned with other types of Tolkien type of characters. They're kind of the rabble-rousers of the game. So they are big and boisterous and noisy, and their quests will involve you doing things like that, like getting drunk or throwing beer kegs at each other and things like that. That's kind of stereotypical, but that's how the Norn kind of operate. The next one here, this is the Asura. The Asura are a very small race of highly intelligent creatures that invented most of the technology you will be seeing in this game. If you use a waypoint system and you fly from one waypoint to the next instantly, that's an Asura technology. If you go through a gateway that takes you from one city to the next, that's an Asura technology. So the Asura are very smart, and they look down on every other race in the game. They consider them Buka. The Sylvari are a brand new race. They were a byproduct of some seeds being planted in a graveyard, and the tree that grew up was a magical tree, and it grew these Sylvari out. They're not your typical elven, even though they have sort of an elvish look. They're actually made up of tree parts and bark. So they're different than a normal like elven race, but they are very in tune to nature. We're going to go ahead and go with what we know, and so we're going to go with a human male, and we will pick this one and we will make them a thief, I think, because I usually don't play thieves in my videos, and I thought, we'll try a thief. Sounds like a good class to play. This is the character creation, and with humans and with all of them you can do the same sort of setup. Norn will look exactly the same, but you will have tattoos that you can show on your Norn. You might want to turn their armor off so you can get a good idea of the body definition of your character, because there will be times you will not have clothing on because there are different events and things like that where you will take your clothes off. So it's kind of important how the character looks without any clothes on. Alright, so you can change their facial type. That one looks a lot like Clint Eastwood, I thought. You can be very boyish, very elven. You can change their ethnicity. You can change their eye shape. You can change their nose width. You can change every other feature, including their skin tone, from normal skin tones to very dark skin tones, Asian type of features and skin tones. So you can take your character and tweak them greatly. Now I wanted this guy to look a lot like the guy from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and the Transporter. I totally forget his name. If you can remember, leave it in the comments below. Anyway, so that was the look I was kind of going for. I wanted him to be kind of gruff. I figured he's a thief. It's going to be kind of scrawny, and but he's going to be kind of gruff looking at the same time. So I made his nose look like it was broken a few times, and he kind of had a bulldog look to him. The voice of the human male is Nolan North. If you're familiar with the Uncharted video game series, he's the voice of the main character in Uncharted, and so you'll get used to that voice in this game. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and speed this up quite a bit here. You don't need to see every little feature, and you can do this too, and you can spend hours developing your character, how it looks. The only thing you can't change is their voice, because that's sort of pre-scripted. Now every option that you pick in this character generation, as far as what type of person this character is going to be, will change the story throughout the entire game for you. There's going to be a personal storyline that you will go down and follow that will match up with what you pick here in the beginning, including the gods you choose, what type of person are you, nobility, did you grow up in the streets, and all of that. So pick what you want, pick wisely, because it will be with this character for the entire time. After this is over, it goes to a little cutscene, which I will skip through because we don't need to watch that right now. Let's move on to the actual gameplay. Let me draw your attention to the user interface. It's at the very bottom of the screen. The bar across the lower left is your buttons 1 through 5, and the buttons on the right are 6 through 0. You'll notice it's quite a minimalistic type of user interface, and that is on purpose because they like a simplistic style. The artistic style of this game is called painterly. You'll notice it looks a lot like a lot of watercolors and that sort of thing are all over the screen. This is a personal story clip. I'm not going to go ahead and watch the whole thing because we have to get on with the actual game. But that's what you'll encounter as you do your personal story. Okay, the red ball in the center of the interface is your total health. That's out of, for this one, for this character at this level, I have 265 hit points. Above that you'll see a bunch of dots, a series of dots. Now I'm playing a thief class, so that's what's called initiative. The more I do my special fancy maneuvers, the more initiative I will burn up. Different professions will have different types of bars up there. There might be one for a warrior, which is your rage. The more angry you get, the more power you use when you do your special maneuvers. So you might have a rage bar. Or for a hunter, up there will be his pet bar. Okay, the lower right hand side of the screen you will see a map, and that map is expandable. You can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, or you can just hit your M key, which will open up the map. Now, different than most other games, if you played another MMO, say World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Republic, when you leveled up, you would have to go purchase new sets of skills and abilities. In this game, the skills and abilities that you use are tied to the weapon you have in your hands at that moment. If I'm using a single dagger in my right hand, which is considered your main hand in this game, I will have a series of 3 spells or abilities that are tied to that dagger. Now if I pick up a dagger and I put it in my offhand, I get a totally new set of spells on my buttons 4 and 5. As I play the game and I unlock things called skill points, I can then purchase utility skills which will go in buttons 7, 8, and 9. And as I earn really special skills, I can put them in my elite skill, which is the button 0. Button 6 will always be your self-heal, which is different than in other games. Unless you were a pure healer, you could not heal yourself. In this game, you can use your heal on button 6, and as you put more points into it, you can get better and better heals, and even group heals and things like that, which is kind of surprising if you consider this is a thief class. Even though this is a thief class, I want you to remember that this is the same for every single profession in this game. A couple more things about the interface before we move on. You'll notice there are 2 half circle marks above the round health ball in the middle. Those are your dodge, and as you play the game, you will notice you need to jump and dodge and move out of the way from attacks, which is different than a lot of other games. A lot of other games, no matter which way you moved, you would always get hit by the creature that was attacking you. This one, they wanted you to actually jump out of the way, and that includes every single profession. Matter of fact, every profession can use abilities while they are moving. Meaning if you're playing a mage type of character, in this game it's an elementalist, you can shoot all of your spells while you're running, which is totally... Okay, so what are some things that sets Guild Wars 2 apart from other MMOs in the genre? Well, there are things like WVW, which is World versus World. Basically, it's a ladder system where your server is ranked against every server in the game, and you battle each other in a huge battlefield which is broken up into 4 separate maps, one for each of the servers, plus a central map which has a lot more points on it. This is a very awesome type of high-level tactical game where you need to build your keeps up, you need to set up supply routes, and you have to do all of that while communicating with everybody else on your team, which is your server. Your server is then ranked against other servers. This comes from Dark Ages of Camelot. If you played that game, it's exactly that, but a lot more. Okay, let's move on to something else. Structured PvP. They call it SPVP because normal PvP is not possible in this game. Nobody on this realm will be able to attack me no matter what. That might change later on, but for right now, you will not be able to be attacked by anybody on your own realm, because everybody on your realm should be your teammate, not your opponent. In structured PvP, as in WVW, you are instantly raised to level 80. Unlike in WVW, you get every skill and ability that a level 80 has. It's a completely balanced playing field. Every piece of armor, every piece of weapon is identical for every single profession. Nobody has an advantage over anybody else. This is a game of skill, not of gear, not of camping huge mobs or doing PvP 1 million times so that you could have better gear than somebody else. This is a game of skill, so because of that, they have locked the armor and weapons to be pretty much generic across the board. It's good stuff. You're going to get a lot of abilities and skills that you would not normally have, but you're not getting anything awesome either. Let's talk a little bit about scaling. What is scaling? Well, in other MMOs, if you had a friend that played and they decided to join you on your server, they would roll a brand new character. And that character would be level 1, and you would already be level 80 or 20 or 30, whatever level it was, and you couldn't play with them because you would jump in and they would be way lower than you, and if you tried to help them out, you could kill things easily, but nobody would get any experience. You didn't get any for sure, and your friend didn't either. So what they've done in this game is scaling, and how that works is you could be level 30, 80, whatever level you are, and you come down to help your level 1 friend. You will continue to get experience, you will get appropriate gear for that level that will drop for you, and both parties do not get hurt for the experience. So you get lowered down to level 1, you are still effectively level 80, you keep all your skills and things, but they don't hit as hard as they used to. Your armor still protects you, but you could die. So it's very fair, it's not boring, and it enables you to be able to play with your friend or friends and not have to re-roll another character. those are just some of the main features that sets Guild Wars apart from the other MMOs. Let's talk a little bit about the myths that you might have heard about Guild Wars 2. Despite of what you might have heard, there are some people that are not telling truths on the internet. I know, it's very troubling. Anyway, let's cover what some of the people are saying and let's see if they're real or fake. Guild Wars 2 has a cash shop. That means I can purchase the best gear in the game and beat everybody else. False. This game does have a cash shop. Everything that you purchase in the cash shop is cosmetic only. There are 2 items right now that are not cosmetic. One's a 10% XP boost, another one is a 10% reputation bonus. Okay, that you get for 1 hour. As a beginner chef in this game, I can create a loaf of bread. That loaf of bread has a 10% XP boost. It costs me about a copper to make. So yes, you can purchase something in the cash shop which will boost your experience, or you can just make one yourself. This game is free to play, which means that once the game is made, the developers will never do anything else for the game ever again. False. Guild Wars 1 was free to play, and they had new quests and expansions almost on a regular weekly, monthly, daily basis. It was ridiculous. So that's going to happen in Guild Wars 2 also, especially because this game is going to be very popular. What's next? The myth of you only get 5 character slots and you're not allowed to put characters on other servers. And because of that, they're trying to rip you off so you have to buy many character slots. False. This game only has 5 character slots to begin with. You can purchase more. We'll talk about that in a second. But you have to remember, you do not need to make 75 characters because every character that you make will be able to scale up or down with every friend you have. There's also something called guesting, which will allow you to play on another person's realm with them and quest with them without ever having to transfer your characters. So there's no need for that. Okay, so what about that I want to purchase more character slots? I'm an altaholic and I want to have 50 alts. Fine. You can purchase another character slot. You can either purchase it with real money, which is about $10 I think for a slot, or you can play the game, earn gold, turn that gold into gems, and turn those gems into character slots. And that is 100% free. You did not have to pay a subscription. You can just play, earn the gold, and buy the character slots. It's that simple. Well, I have been rattling on here for nearly 20 minutes. It'll be over 20 minutes by the time this video is finished. What does this all boil down to? What do I think of Guild Wars 2, and why are you listening to me this long? Well, if you've listened to me this long, you're actually quite curious about the game, and you probably are going to play it or are really seriously considering playing it. My background is, I started playing MMOs with Meridian 59 back in 1994. Prior to that, I ran a Wildcat BBS. I think it was like a 4-modem BBS. And I ran MUDs on that, multi-user dungeons. I used to play Dungeons & Dragons prior to that, and I started playing video games in 1982 with Zork 1. So I've played every MMO, at least every AAA MMO ever made. Started playing EverQuest, Ultima Online, Dark Ages of Camelot, Star Wars Galaxies, Star Wars The Old Republic. It's ridiculous. I've played them all. Nothing has excited me as much about playing an MMO as Guild Wars 2. Nothing. There is so much to this game over and above what I've covered so far that you just have to play it yourself. You just have to watch the videos, learn about it, get excited about it, because if somebody shared this with you to say, hey, this is a good guide to at least tell you a little bit about the game and see whether or not you want to play it, they care about you, obviously. They would like you to come play with them. And remember, once you've purchased this game for $50, $60, whatever it costs in your area, you've bought it forever. You do not have to purchase another thing, except for maybe an expansion that might come along in a couple years. But there is no monthly subscription, no reason to put another penny into this game, unlike every other MMO out there. When you agree to play World of Warcraft with your friend, you're agreeing to pay at least $180 a year in subscription fees. over and above the cost of all the games and the expansions. This does not cost that. It's about 50, 60 bucks, and then you have it forever. You can play for a little while, you can quit for a little while. When you come back, it's all still the same. So, I hope I have explained the game well enough to where you are excited about playing it, at least wanting to check it out. And I think I was pretty fair. I didn't beat up another game too bad or anything like that. Kind of showed you the basics. And if you have any questions or concerns and want to chat about it, fine. Add me on Skype. I am the.Geekasaurus on Skype. You can go ahead and add me as a friend and at least write me to let me know you've added me so that I can look forward to talking to you and we can just chat about it. No problem. I will definitely talk to you. So thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, I have a ton more, going into a lot more detail and a lot more focus than the scope of this one. And it will at least enable you to kind of get the basics in this, and then from there you can go on and watch the other ones. So subscribe to my videos. I'm going to try to do a video a day. Can't guarantee I'm going to be able to every single day, but we're going to try. So thanks a lot for watching. Pass this on to your friends. Subscribe, like it, all that stuff. And I will see you soon. This has been the Geekasaurus. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time,
see ya!